So the final shape is coming out, I guess, sometime. We'll find out. Well, you know, I'll find out in a bit. And basically, it it kind of has multiple purposes. It's advertised, and by the way, I apologize if I sound really tired. I just am. I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. Um, it's been advertised as the end of the Light and Darkness saga. Now, unfortunately, this Light and Darkness saga has been portrayed as the witness story because it's kind of all it's really been at, for the last few years. But in reality, the Light and Darkness saga is the main story of the Destiny franchise, and I talked about this in a previous stream. And the Light and Darkness saga is, in the big picture, and this is like the really really big picture, you have the winnower and the gardener and their struggle for control over this universe. And then the smaller picture side of things, it's still big though, is the 10-year story, which is our first collapse and um, our first collapse, us building humanity back up from the ruin and the rubble, and then the eventual return of whatever caused that collapse, and us trying to prevent a second one from happening. And this final shape expansion is seemingly going to be the end of that story, right? But the second purpose is answers, because we have been led on and teased for a lot of things for several expansions. And you had, I can't even remember if Destiny 1 even did this that much. Destiny 1 didn't really tease things in its expansions, it just kind of told a story. But I think the big things for me that I can think about are things like the pyramids. The fact that they're built up and built up and built up, and then you have the Beyond Light expansion that's marketed as the pyramid ship expansion. The main trailer and the main cinematic literally is focused on the pyramid waking up. There's no mention of Aramis or the Vex or anything, and Elsie literally says, "This is what I brought you here to see." Actually, I will bring up a picture. I'm gonna move these over here, and then I will bring up the first picture. Yoink, yoink. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. And yeah, all we got were more teasers about what the pyramids were. And it even continued into Witch Queen. And I mean, Witch Queen is kind of Witch Queen. And then Lightfall was the same thing, right? You're constantly led on with the veil. What's the veil? It's so important. It's going to ruin or save everything. And then you don't even really get an explanation, right? And the same thing has also existed with the Traveler, in a very smaller sense, but it's still there. What actually is it? And then in the lore, you have the mentions of the character known as the Gardener, and you have the unveiling lore book. Is it real? Is it not real? Did the witness make it? Is it all propaganda? Is it just a big metaphor? Does the Gardener actually exist? Does the Winnower actually exist? And it's one of those things where obviously people like me who have their opinions will use the lore to provide their arguments or their beliefs on like what's actually going on and what isn't. But like there's no actual cutscene with the Gardener doing anything or the Winnower doing anything. And yeah, it's just all speculation. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry about that. I'm back. But anyway, yeah, there's no Gardner cutscene and there's no Winnower cutscene. And yeah, there's the Gardner cutscene from um, the concept of the Destiny 1 first cinematic, but that's about it. So now we're at the final shape. We are literally inside the Traveler. And we're at the point where there is no other... You can't push... It's like every time you run up to the ball, you keep kicking it down a bit further, and then you have to keep running after it. You're literally kicking it against the wall now. It's not going any further. And that is basically what's happening with this expansion. We are literally inside the Traveler. I really don't think there's going to be like another expansion in the future where, oh, that's where we learn what the Traveler is. Oh, that's where we learn who made it or where it came from. Oh, that's where we learn about the Gardener and that the Gardener is a different entity to the Traveler. There's no other time. There is no other DLC or expansion. There's no other story. And sorry, I honestly think, as much as I blame Beyond Light for everything, and as much as I think that it kind of butchered and to a certain extent ruined the story of the pyramids, pretty much beyond repair in a lot of ways, I think that if we were to go through the final shape, and we were not to have these answers about the Traveler, at the very least, but also the Gardener, this would be probably the biggest mess up story-wise ever. Because yes, Lightfall was awful, but Lightfall was more of a nuisance and like, why are you here, right? And it was just a letdown. But this is way worse. If we go into the Traveler and then we come out of the Traveler and then it's just like, yeah, it's so the Traveler is a thing and we don't really know what it is, but if you go inside a portal, you can basically make up your own map like Minecraft, and it's generated from your memories. And that is what the oh, yeah, that's not... That's your ending to the 10-year saga. Yeah, ID. So, I think that, because you're going to have people on two different sides of a coin. Excuse me, you're going to have people who say, yes, you should 100%, like, I want to know this, and I want to know it in this expansion, and I will be genuinely upset or disappointed if that isn't the case. And then you have the people who are like, oh, well, no, like, these are unfair expectations, and whatever. It's the people that I'm talking about. Well, I'm telling you, when it comes to this expansion, you have the right to expect answers about the Traveler and the Gardener. Because there is no other time after this. There is no other time after this. I don't think there will be another expansion where we go in for a second time to inside the Traveler to get the rest of the info. This is it. And so yeah, with that being said, this is the time for the Gardener. And this is actually really important, because this is a character who has not been revealed in any significant sense to the wider audience. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Take Nezarec, for example, okay? Everybody knows about Nezarec, but not everybody knew that he was actually going to be a thing in the future, that he was going to be a character that would do anything, A lot of people thought it was just the name of some helmet from a dude who wasn't relevant at all. So what Bungie did to kind of wake everybody up, was they introduced the Nezarec's Whisper Glaive. And that was like, to anybody, like, it doesn't matter how much you care about the lore, that's like, oh dang, oh well, I guess if they're bringing this character's name back into things, and oh dang, Nezarec's whatever the chest piece was, his robes are in the store. Okay, this guy's actually kind of getting mentions now. Okay, yeah. Nothing like that has happened for the Gardener, which means that if the Gardener is revealed in this expansion, it's going to blindside like 80 to 90% of the player base. And it's going to be a big, massive reveal. I don't like putting my bets on Bungie doing that, because Bungie plays it really safe. They play it really safe. They play it extraordinarily safe. And yeah, like, it is what it is. But I do have hope. And if it wasn't for this one thing, I would, I would be saying the same thing. This is the time for the Gardener reveal. But the reason why I'm actually kind of almost borderline confident is because of... Oh, I forgot the keys. Wait, 1 second. No, oh, no, you do. No, you do it on this one. Wait, one. I'm experiencing technical difficulties again. Here we go. I double-clicked it. What? Oh. Okay, we're good. This has been the thorn in everybody's side who basically doesn't believe in the Gardener or who thinks that this statue is something that it isn't. So I remember back in the day when the Kolobayev art came out of the Pyramid City. And I'll just, screw it, I'll just pull it up. To tell you the truth, when this concept art came out in 2017, we didn't even know that this was like darkness or pyramid related. I kid you not, when I saw this concept art, I thought it was of the Hive or the Vex or some crap like that. Oh boy. Anyway, but when people did realize after Shadowkeep that this was pyramid art, I would say most people thought that these statues were some kind of darkness, evil character. And I was the exact same way. It was only when I actually began digging, and I think the reason why I went digging, well, I can't even remember the exact thing that kind of set it off, but basically once I made the link between this picture and the fact that the pyramid race must have had a golden age, I mean, that was really it for me, right? That was the first and biggest discovery. The realization that they had a golden age. And there wasn't, I don't think, really that many other people who were saying that, but this, like, that one thing literally helps connect all the other dots. And so, if the pyramid race had a golden age, and, obviously it makes sense because they know about the Traveler, then what's this, right? And it was very easy to be like, okay, I see this. Oh, look, that looks really similar to this, And you don't really have to overthink it or make it complicated. The two look very similar, and I think it was clear at first glance that they were, I didn't want to do that. That they were, designed off of each other. So, with the idea that they had a golden age, the idea that they were worshipping the Traveler, then this kind of needed to be the Gardener. And that's what I said. I said all the way back in 2019 that the Pyramid race were given a golden age from the Gardener. And they ended up wanting more, or something happened, but they weren't content, and so they turned on her. And because they turned on her, she ran away. Now, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I'm actually pretty happy that I got that much right. I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty cool. But that's what I said. And the other things that were being said, it was that this statue was of the Winnower, or that this statue was of the Witness later on. One theory was that this was just an old design for the Witness before they made the character properly appear in Witch Queen. And then that was basically it. Like, I think one person said like it was like a metaphor or like a symbol of the pyramid race rising from the deep or something. I don't know. But as time has gone on, and the Witness has gotten more info, we've gotten the whole thing about the origins of the pyramid race. Now we've had the actual, like, where did their darkness influence and I guess corruption come from? It was the veil. Now we actually have the source. So the pyramids are not the darkness. The witness, like Bungie tried to hype up and like a lot of people said, the witness is not the darkness. And so then the question is, okay guys, so can you explain what this is? Because it's not like, oh, this is just in some concept art, or, oh yeah, this is just in, you know, the Shadowkeep pyramid, and then they, you know, maybe scrapped the stuff. Whenever it appears in game, it gets a very, very large focus. Shadowkeep, it was literally at the very end of the mission. Garden of Salvation, it's literally in this hidden away protected area. Deepstone Crypt, it's a bit of a weirder situation, but again, it literally disrupts the raid. It's literally in your path to get from point A to B. And you have to just go around it. There's no avoiding it. Witch Queen. I mean, and it's the same thing kind of happened in the Europa Pyramid for Beyond Light. Witch Queen. You commune with the statue in the thing. And again, it's not like it's just some random... Because Witch Queen introduced all the other Pyramid Ship statues, right? So, oh, well, it's just another statue, like, of the... whatever. Look at the importance that is placed on this one statue. It's bigger than all the others. Oh, actually, no, sorry. It's not bigger, but it's more prominent than all the others. It's got all the pillar stuff here. It's whatever, and yeah. So this isn't just some random statue. It's not, and also actually, it's not made of the same material as all the others. So it's like, okay, so this is still something different. Can you guys explain this? And the thing is like, and the funny thing is like my thing, me saying that it's the gardener. I'm literally showing you pictures. I'm showing you cutscenes. I'm showing you written lore. I'm literally showing you dreams and visions where a character who literally matches the exact description as the gardener appears and talks in a way that the gardener would and makes references that would make sense for it to be the gardener. All the other theories are just kind of like ifs and buts and maybes and whatever, right? And again, I'm not trying to like knock those people. But I'm just saying to the people who try to knock me, it's like, you kind of can't. That's the thorn in your side. These statues are the thorn in your side. If you're trying to say that I'm just coping or I'm just whatever. Well, let's be honest. There's always a part of us that copes, boys. There's always a part of us that copes. And then in Lightfall, after the veil is revealed, you have the statue in the pyramid there, just like, hey guys, you know, I didn't go anywhere. They didn't scrap me. I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. And then, of course, in final shape. So this thing has consistently been shown. Bungie has a bit of an awkward relationship with continuity, and a bit of an awkward relationship with keeping the lore tidy and consistent and remembering things. They have made a point with this. They have made a point of keeping this going. So, I think, without a shadow of a doubt, this statue is getting explained in final shape. Okay, why? Because the witness is going bye-bye in the final shape. And most likely, so I don't actually think the pyramids are going bye-bye, I just think they're not going to be the focus. They're going to kind of take a back seat. So this is like the pyramids' last hurrah. So again, because of that, this is the last expansion for this to get explained. So what is it going to be? Well, there's only one thing it can be. This right here. And I know I always show you this. My nickname for this is the gotcha image, because like there's kind of no getting around it. like I said, it's very clear that the Veiled Woman statues are based off of this picture here, okay? Any of this character, where the robe is actually off the head, you can actually see the face. It's a woman, right? It's not some evil, sinister darkness. It's just a woman, okay? Who's linked to the Traveler. She isn't the Traveler, but she's linked to it. And then again, it's just very, So, now we're in a bit of a bind. Because there's only one explanation for the statues that has stayed consistent and that has worked all of these years, and it is of the gardener. But here's the thing, if that's true, then that means that there's some character that people don't know about, and people don't like that. And I think, without going too deep into it, I think one of the reasons why why people try so hard to go against it being the gardener is because I think Bungie has unfortunately cultivated a culture in the lore and a lore community that relies too much on straightforward information. And what I mean by that is, it's not just in a lore book, it's like blatantly spelled out. So it can't just be a woman with, the description of the gardener. It has to be called the gardener, or it has to be like really clear that this is the gardener, or it needs to be in a cutscene. And so, like I said, unfortunately, like, I can tell you like so many different reasons why the winner is real, but because I can't, and the closest I can get to that is showing you unveiling and it's saying this is from the winnower, but again, it can't necessarily prove that. And it's the same with this. I can show you all of this, but I can't actually prove that, And then Bungie does their cheeky misinformation, right? And this does trigger me. Bungie did this with the pyramids, where I am telling you, guys, the pyramids are not the darkness. The pyramids are not the darkness. Okay, guys? Okay, you gotta hear that? They're not the darkness. Okay, cool. And then Bungie's like, hey guys, listen to me. I'm Bungie, right? The pyramids, low-key, are the darkness, though. They kind of are. Like, come on. Like, you know how the Traveler's like a circle? And the pyramids are like the triangle? Like, they're like the opposite of that. So they're the darkness. And they look spooky. And there's like spooky stuff. And also, because our characters who don't actually have any inside knowledge on the pyramids say they're the darkness, they're the darkness. And so then a lot of people will believe that, right? Fair enough. And then Bungie would go, oh, gotcha! Oh, we got you! They're not the darkness. They're just ships. Unlucky. And they're like, oh man, we really subverted their expectations. And then they show the witness. And I'm like, guys. I literally made, you can see in my video thing, do not be deceived, okay? It's like, they're doing it again, guys. This is the winnower, or whatever. The winnower is the darkness, and this is all the reasons why I can back it up with all the lore and all the witness literally cannot be the actual darkness. They're like, guys, Loki, the witness is the big bad. Guys, the witness is the darkness. Like, it's, like, I mean, come on, guys. Yeah. So people believe it, right? And then they go, oh, gotcha! Here's the veil! Yeah, the witness actually... So, you know how, like, you didn't think there was a pyramid race? Well, there actually is. But they all turned into the witness. So we subverted your expectations again. Gotcha. And I'm like, oh, no, bro. Please, no more. And then we get the Traveler is the Gardener. And that's a tricky one. That is a trickier one. And so I have always been saying now that the Traveler is not the Gardener. They're two different things. And again, you know, even in that video that I released today, I talked about Robert Reed. So Robert Reed was, I would say Robert Reed is where these two characters came from. Personally. I don't know, but that's my biggest guess. Okay? Robert Reed actually said that he designed the central villain for the game, singular. So I actually think that if this is the Winnower, then Robert Reed probably designed him. Right? Same thing for the Gardener. And again, he makes a distinction between, like, there's the Traveler and then there's the Gardener. He does call both of them gods, to be fair. So I'm sure if you really don't want to believe that they're separate, you can say that because he calls them both gods, that the two are interchangeable. So, like, I don't believe that, but that is a valid point for you to make. For sure. But then when you look at all the other evidence, it still will always be clear that there is a difference. There is a difference. So, oh, I deleted my, wait a minute. I knew I was missing something. Where did my thingamajiggy go? Yeah, I am running on fumes, boys. I'm at like 20% battery life at the moment. No, I put it. Oh no, it was there. Oh, here it is. We're good. Okay. So, like I said, we're at the final shape. Final shape is where we're getting our answers. I've talked about why you should expect answers, why you have the right to expect answers. I talked about why the Veiled Woman statue probably will be explained at the very least. And then purely because of that, I made my links to the Gardener, and I basically went through all the reasons why it is the Gardener. And so, the final shape. Before I talk about, like, what actually might happen in the final shape, I do want to say really quickly though. So, I talked about it in the video, but, like, again, there is the belief that this is the Winnower, or it's a darkness being or something, right? Now, clearly, it's not the Witness, right? It's not supposed to represent the Witness. It's just not, okay? But what actual evidence is there for this thing to be a darkness being? And here's where it gets tricky. We don't know anything about the Veil. Not really. Nothing that matters. Yes, they gave us all that dialogue about stuff, but it's kind of all just fluff. And I don't think they're... I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think they ever will truly explain the Veil, because I don't think they truly... I don't think the Veil was meant to happen, okay? I was in a group call with some friends of mine, Marzier and Archival Mind, and I kind of described the Veil as like a tumor in the lore, because it just really shouldn't be there, and it doesn't really work, and it's just kind of, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, it doesn't really seem like it should be there, it doesn't feel natural, you know? But there's the Veil, and the Veil is confirmed to be where the Pyramid race got their darkness, influence, and corruption from. Okay. If this statue is a darkness entity or the Winnower, this was received from the Veil. They got it through a vision of some kind. Here's where it gets kind of Awkward though. The gardener also communicates through dreams and visions. And so, if you're going to tell me that that is how they saw this darkness entity, I can say, well, how do you know they just didn't do that from, like, the gardener? And you can be like, well, in the cutscene, Asa says that their god never spoke to them. I'm like, okay. It's Bungie. I'm not going to put it past them to be like, well, I didn't speak to them, but, you know, dreams don't really count as speaking, and it's... Also, like, has the Veil ever really spoken? Has the Veil really... It's very weird how the Veil works. And to be honest with you, yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly how that works, but my main point is this. I believe that this statue was created before they went to the darkness. And I say that because of the fact that the ships were. Also, at the same time, I think if... I mean, like, I don't know. I'm sorry. It's hard. I'm trying to, like... I'm really trying to, like, debate this point fairly. But then it's like... You know, I'm going to go back... Because what I was going to do is I was going to go back to this picture. And I was going to talk about how it looks like, you know, this was really established in their culture, and, you know, you still have the old stuff and then the new golden age stuff, and then this is here, and, you know, basically, in my opinion, if this was from the Veil, it's like at the very end before they became the Witness, whereas, like, you know, this and whatnot implies that it's not like that. But then I just remember, well, wait, dude, like, what are you doing? This statue is literally based off of this statue, and it's okay. But anyway, there's that, right? And then again, like I said, I mean, bro, even look at this, like, it's you know, and then you know, the Hipa, and then you get the and you get the where'd it go? This one? I don't think this is a coincidence. You cannot convince me that this is a coincidence. It makes no sense. But yeah, Final Shape. Final Shape is rough. Because, and I don't like saying this, and maybe when we watch Joe Blackburn's video, it'll save the day. I am not excited for Final Shape. And I'll tell you why. Like, I'm excited to play it, but I'm not excited for the story. I am actually kind of, like, scared for the story. And for the record, if you ask Bife, he would probably say he's nervous too, okay? I think any lore person after Lightfall is going to be nervous. Let me tell you why I'm not excited. This stuff, right, in the destination is fine. No, I'm gonna pull this up for you. Let me pull this up. If this was the destination,
God,
shut up. If this was the destination, I would be excited. I would be like, there are so many possibilities. There are so many ways that this could go. This is really, really cool. The issue is that instead, we are getting this. And as much as this is looking like, oh, kind of like the other thing, the reality is that like probably at least half, if not more of it, is reskinned and reused destinations from before. And the fact that so much of the premise of this expansion is going down memory lane, I don't like that. That's filler. That's fluff. I don't care. Unless it is literally the gardener, like, occasionally talking to us as we're doing it, I don't care. And in case you're like, yeah, but like it's kind of nice, and I kind of would, wouldn't mind, one last time going through these things, bro. There's gonna be like 7 or 8 missions probably. There's a bandwidth. It's taking up the bandwidth, and it took me Beyond Light to realize that. I was playing through Beyond Light, and every single mission, I was like, bro, they're gonna reveal this race at the end. It's gonna be this huge, big surprise. There's gonna be this massive plot twist or something. And then I was like, oh, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't expect it to be like, so, like, I think it's safe to say that this is kind of what you're getting, right? And then you do have this. But again, this is kind of all connected to the witness, right? Because they've made it so that the whole point of this destination is that like half of it is made by you and half of it is made by the witness. So when I'm looking at this expansion, yes, I can tell you that I think it is very plausible for the gardener to be revealed. Where are they going to fit that in, though? I have no idea. How are they going to fit that in? I have no idea. What is it going to look like? I have no idea. If I had it my way, I would have her straight up appear in game. Give her an in-game model. Give her a cutscene. You know? Do some really sick, awesome stuff. But at this point, anything, be it dialogue, be it written lore, be it an item description that says that the gardener is a different character to the traveler, I will take that. And so that is why, as much as I can sit here and I can tell you guys, this is the gardener, this is why I think she's going to get revealed, because, like, the Veiled Woman statue is the gardener, and this is all the reasons why. And I look at this and I'm like, I don't know how they're going to do that. You know? It's kind of like, I don't know. So anyway, that's pretty much everything from me. Yeah. Again, I'm very tired, and I'm not just trying to say that, like, just whatever, but, like, I do feel bad because I'm kind of butchering things and I'm rambling. But I did my best with it. I think you ultimately get my point, and at the end of the day, the main videos do get everything across, I think, pretty well. So, yeah. But I'm sure maybe some of you guys have points of your own and questions, and then we can go further from there. But yeah, that is everything on my end. GG.
I always say GG, so I know where to begin editing.